They drew a symbol with your initials at midnight. I erased it before it could touch your destiny. Archangel Michael says, what happened last night wasn't ordinary. A ritual was started in secret, under the cover of darkness, and your name was the centerpiece. You weren't supposed to find out, but heaven did, and I moved before the mark could settle. There was a room lit only by candlelight, a shadow moving silently, cloaked in dark intentions. They wrote your initials on a black parchment with red chalk, whispering words you were never meant to hear. But before the spell was sealed, I struck it down. The moment your name was traced into the center of that cursed symbol, I was dispatched. You were tossing in your sleep, restless without knowing why. That was your spirit resisting what your body couldn't see. I swept down and erased your name from the flames before the final chant. You don't know how close it came. You would have woken up changed, not fully understanding why your peace vanished overnight. But now, the thread is removed, for now. Type Amen to get blessing 333. Archangel Michael says, the symbol they drew wasn't just a random creation. It was crafted with ancient knowledge, stolen and used by someone who has watched you for a while. This person knows your habits, your fears, and your past wounds. They had no right to place your soul in danger. They believed your silence meant weakness. They were wrong, because your angels have never once stepped back. When I arrived, the air in that room was already vibrating with unholy energy. But I didn't speak, I simply broke the chalk, scattered the ash, and placed light where there was dark. The sound that followed was not of this world. That moment caused someone far from you to scream out in confusion. They felt the resistance hit them like a wall of fire. They had planned this for weeks, and in a single instant, I undid every dark line. Type Amen to get blessing 222. You've been experiencing pressure around your head. That was not random. It was part of the attempted imprint that was never completed. They wanted you confused, drained, and cut off from clarity. But instead, you're reading this message, and that means it didn't work. Your focus will begin to return in the next few hours. Your clarity will sharpen like a blade, and your heart will feel lifted without explanation. This isn't just protection. This is the breaking of a binding that was never meant to reach you. You were seconds from being attached to an invisible force, but now, you're standing in light. This symbol was meant to activate fully at 3:33 a.m. But by 3:21, I had already arrived. It was not a battle, it was an interruption of fate. The room where your name was written no longer exists. Type Amen to get blessing 444. Someone you know helped them. Not a stranger. A familiar name. This is what hurts the most, because you trusted their smile. But in the back of their mind, they believed you had what should have been theirs. This person spoke your name with envy, cloaked in politeness. They weren't doing the ritual, but they handed over your details, hoping something bad would shake your future. They laughed when they left, but I heard it. That laughter stopped moments ago. Because what was meant to bind you, bounced back. I didn't just erase the symbol, I redirected the consequence. Let them try explaining what they're seeing now. The sky changed that night for a reason. The weather may have shifted suddenly, or you may have felt cold even under blankets. That wasn't just the temperature. That was a crack between realms, where heaven entered unseen. Type Amen to get blessing 555. There's a strange dream you may have had: water, mirrors, or broken staircases. That wasn't random either. That was your spirit being shown fragments of what could have happened. But the thread was severed. What you're about to feel in the coming days will be different. Opportunities may open with no explanation. Connections may call you by mistake, but nothing is a mistake now. Everything is realigned. You must walk forward. Don't chase clarity from those who never cared for your well-being. You'll see strange behavior from people, detachment, silence, confusion. That's the backlash. That's the broken bridge. Your footsteps are being tracked by angels now. Not to monitor you, but to protect your every turn. Anyone who tries to trace you again will find their signals cut. They've lost access to your timeline. Type Amen to get blessing 999. There's more. A copy of that symbol was drawn in another city, not by the original person, but by someone who was instructed from afar. It was meant to act as a backup seal. But I destroyed that one too. You were heavily protected because your spirit holds divine inheritance. There is a glow inside you that disrupts dark patterns. That's why they tried to stop you. This wasn't just about pain. This was about redirecting your fate. They knew something great was coming for you, something that can't be undone now. You will hear strange news soon. Someone will confess something you didn't expect. It will make your hands tremble, but your heart will feel lighter. This is not a coincidence. Type Amen to get blessing 777. The chant they used had your nickname in it. That's how detailed this attack was. It wasn't general. It was personal. But I stepped between it, and now the echo of that chant has been silenced. That person may fall silent in your life soon. Don't reach out to them. They were never going to tell you the truth anyway. Let their own shadows consume the lies they lived in. You are rising. And as you rise, some people will fall away without drama. It is the divine way of separation. Don't mourn them, they were carrying bricks to sink your boat. Archangel Michael says, I've placed a glowing symbol on your name in the spiritual realm. It repels all dark attempts. No one will be able to mirror, trace, or forge your energy again. They tried, and now they're paying. Type Amen to get blessing 111. You'll begin to feel a strange boost in your energy over the next 3 nights. This is your real self reconnecting with what was stolen. The return of power is quiet but undeniable. Notice who looks confused when you start shining again. Their silence is an admission. They know their grip is gone. The divine plans for you are immense, that's why they went to such lengths. But they underestimated your guardians. They didn't realize your name was written in heaven long before they ever whispered it on earth. Every midnight now resets your energy. The clock is not just time, it's a mark of your unbroken cycle. Nothing can interrupt it anymore. Not symbols. Not chance. Not envy. Type Amen to get blessing 123. Stay still when you feel resistance next time. That's the signal. That's when heaven moves. I don't wait for your permission to save you. I act the moment darkness thinks it has a chance. You are not alone. You never were. The war happening around your destiny is not new. it just became visible this week. Every blocked message, every emotional crash, every headache at 3 a.m., it was all connected. But now that the thread is cut, the symptoms will fade. And for the first time in months, you will begin to breathe freely. Not just physically, spiritually. Type Amen to get blessing 888. I saw who drew it. And I want you to know, I stared into their eyes as I crushed the mark. They know. They felt it. They are now terrified of what comes next. You don't need revenge. Heaven is taking care of it in ways no human could. The same ones who wanted to slow you will now watch you run. Get ready. Your blessings will no longer be delayed. In fact, something that was meant for October is arriving early. This shift is bigger than you think. But you must not go back. Not to old patterns. Not to suspicious friendships. Not to invitations that make your spirit uneasy. Archangel Michael says, I am always near. When your heart starts racing for no reason, it's often because I'm clearing something again. I'll never let their whispers write your ending. And one more thing. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20. They tried to redirect the pain meant for someone else toward you. But what they didn't expect was your spirit's immunity. Even without knowing what was happening, your energy began resisting it. You've always felt things before they happened, tightness in your chest, dreams you couldn't explain, or sudden cold shivers in your spine. Those weren't accidents. Those were divine alerts. They were heaven's way of saying, something is moving. Stay covered. You are not weak. The fact that you didn't retaliate is not your weakness. It's proof of your elevation. You were chosen not to fight back in the way they expect, but to rise so high that they can't follow. Archangel Michael says, there's something ancient in your bloodline. Something sacred. That's why this keeps happening. You are a gatekeeper of destiny that stretches beyond your current life. Type Amen to get blessing 717. You carry light, even in your silence. You don't need to say much. Your presence alone disrupts things. That's why they fear you, not because of what you did, but because of what you represent. They tried to snuff your glow by placing symbols on papers, objects, maybe even under your name online. But the moment they drew that final line, I destroyed it. And the energy recoiled on them like a whip of fire. That person may appear suddenly kind. They may apologize for old things, hoping to reconnect. Don't let them in. They're trying to see if you still carry the wounds. But you don't. Not anymore. You are not bleeding, you are burning with strength. A financial block is being lifted right now. That wasn't just circumstance. They tried to bind your flow by whispering against your name. That knot is untied. Type Amen to get blessing 606. A door is opening for you in the next 3 days. You'll feel it before you see it. Like the air shifting before a storm. It will bring you joy in unexpected form, a message, a phone call, a sudden transaction. Someone thought if they marked your destiny, they could slow your steps. They didn't know heaven walks with you. They didn't see the flame that guards your back. You were never meant to be normal. That's why these attacks happened. That's why you felt misunderstood, alone, or under pressure. But now you know the truth. They used midnight, believing it was a power hour. But they forget, midnight is also when angels operate in stealth. I watched them draw. I waited until the last second, then I erased. The ash still exists. But it no longer holds your signature. Type Amen to get blessing 101. Watch what happens next. The very people who tried to silence you will be silenced. Their voice will lose impact. Their plans will fold without your energy feeding it. You'll notice people reacting differently to you now. Not because you changed, but because your spirit is no longer wrapped in what they placed on you. Even animals may react more to you. Children may stare at you longer. That's because the divine mark I've placed on you is visible to the innocent. No more torment in silence. No more restless nights. I have peeled off the unseen layer they placed on your path. You are not returning to who you were. You are becoming who you were born to be. Archangel Michael says, you survived spiritual sabotage. And now your reward is unlocking. Type Amen to get blessing 808. There is a file, a folder, or a memory that was connected to this spell. It might be in someone's drawer, on a shelf, or even in a message. If it surfaces again, don't touch it. Let it fade. It no longer has any power. They may talk about you soon. Not out of malice, but confusion. You'll hear your name spoken in places you haven't visited. That's because heaven made your presence louder. Every attempt to distort your name has been reversed. Your initials are now glowing in light, not drawn in darkness. You've been cleared, restored, rewritten. Your timeline is back on track. The delay is over. The blessing that was intercepted has been rerouted, now with interest. This is the divine refund of energy they stole. Type Amen to get blessing 414. Someone will be exposed within the next 6 days. You'll know it's connected to this moment because they'll slip up in their speech or behave unusually around you. That's the unraveling. That's truth coming to light. Stay quiet when it happens. Don't confront. Let the divine reveal what needs to be revealed. You are not to lower your energy, not for apologies, not for explanations. You are now walking in divine silence. Let your results speak for you. Let your light disturb what needs to be disturbed. They drew that symbol hoping you'd break. But you didn't. You bent, yes, but you snapped back stronger than ever. This moment marks the beginning of a new cycle. Midnight tried to touch you, but morning has claimed you. Final words, continued. Archangel Michael says, you are protected beyond what you know. You've been handpicked to carry a path many can't walk. The reason so many attacked is because they sensed the crown, even when you didn't. You are royal in the spirit. You are guarded at every turn. And from now on, every attempt to tag, bind, or define you will fail before it begins. Heaven has you surrounded. No chalk. No paper. No name spoken in darkness will ever hold you again. You were marked for glory before they ever tried to mark you for pain. Let them stare in silence now. Let them wonder how you rose when they wrote you off. There's a shift you may not even be able to explain in words. It's subtle but powerful, a strange sense that the weight you were carrying suddenly dropped. This is not imagination. This is spiritual evidence that what was formed against you has collapsed. Their midnight attempt to block your rise has now become their own downfall. The energy they summoned to weaken you has turned on them. You may begin hearing whispers of their struggles. Don't rejoice, but understand, justice is not always loud. You may have even noticed certain people vanishing lately. Conversations dropped. Plans cancelled. These weren't coincidences, these were exits orchestrated for your protection. Had they stayed, your name might have been caught in more dangerous circles. Your initials carry meaning in the spirit realm. Every time someone says your name with love, light is activated. But when they wrote it in envy, they activated fire. I had no choice but to respond swiftly. Type Amen to get blessing 626. There is someone close to you who had no idea this was being done, but they felt it. They cried for you. They prayed in silence, unaware they were interceding for your freedom. Their spirit picked up the interference long before it reached your doorstep. Heaven heard that prayer. It added strength to my sword. That's why I could intervene with greater force, because love creates openings that hate cannot close. This symbol was meant to follow you for the next 7 years. It was a long-term chain disguised as bad luck. But it shattered before the first hour passed. Now, instead of delay, you'll start seeing divine acceleration. What should have taken years may take months. This is your reward for surviving spiritual assassination attempts. They watched your social media, your photos, your stories. They waited for signs of weakness. And in your lowest moment, they thought the spell would stick. But instead of falling apart, you began glowing brighter. Type Amen to get blessing 303. Every smile you wear now confuses them. Every peaceful night you enjoy disturbs them more than any words ever could. This is what it means to be spiritually untouchable. You're going to notice people forgetting your name, not the ones who love you, but the ones who cursed you. That's part of the erasure. I've wiped your energy from their spiritual radar. Even when they speak of you, their words will stumble. Their intentions will backfire. They no longer have the keys to your name. It has been relocated in divine record. You may also experience moments of déjà vu, but stronger than before. That's the restoration process. The parts of your timeline that were interfered with are now realigning. Archangel Michael says, they planned destruction. But they accidentally triggered your rebirth. Type Amen to get blessing 505. The truth is, this wasn't their first attempt. It was simply their boldest. They've been sending small disruptions for a long time, arguments, broken friendships, emotional crashes. But now that they failed loudly, they will not try again soon. Your environment may suddenly feel clearer. That's because something lifted. You're not imagining it. The air has changed. So has the atmosphere around your purpose. You're walking with the power of someone who was meant to be defeated, but wasn't. That type of power carries a frequency of freedom that cannot be mimicked. Now that their tool has failed, they are beginning to turn on each other. There will be blame, confusion, betrayal among them. That's not your concern, stay focused on your mission. Let the foolish tear each other down. You have an elevation to walk into. A final seal has been placed on your destiny. Archangel Michael says, No one will ever be able to speak your name into darkness again without consequence. The consequences are real this time. I will see to it personally. Every portal they opened has now been shut. Every spiritual door they forced through has been closed and sealed with holy flame. You are free. There's one last thing I must reveal to you. When I erased that symbol, a vision was unlocked, a glimpse into your true future. Not the manipulated one they tried to forge, but the unshakable, glorious timeline that was always meant to be yours. You were meant to be honored, elevated, admired. They saw it coming and panicked. That's why they resorted to hidden rituals, because they couldn't destroy you openly. But it's too late now. Type Amen to get blessing 919. You may soon receive an unexpected opportunity, one that seems too perfectly timed. That's not luck. That's the opening they tried to block finally finding its way back to you. A relocation, an offer, or a powerful conversation will arrive. Accept it. This is heaven's way of telling you, you've passed the unseen test. The pain you endured secretly is birthing results publicly. Do not explain how you made it out. Just walk in it. You don't need to warn anyone anymore. They've been warned by the collapse of their own tools. Let them try again, they'll find nothing to grab, nothing to bind. The spiritual version of you is now cloaked. Only the light gets through. Only the pure will find you now. Type Amen to get blessing 313. There are people from your past who will begin remembering you. They'll feel a strange pull to reach out. That's because your energy has shifted so powerfully, it's echoing in places you once occupied. But be wise. Not every reconnection is a reason to respond. Some people are only drawn to the version of you they once believed was easy to manipulate. But that version no longer exists. You've been purified by battle. There will be 3 nights of powerful dreams coming soon. Watch for faces, voices, signs. That's not your imagination, that's divine download. I'm placing new codes in your sleep. You'll wake up lighter. You may even feel like you were somewhere far away. You were. That's your future touching your now. Final blessing. You are untouchable. You are chosen. You are sealed. And you are already rising. Your initials may have been written in shadow, but they now shine in heaven's golden ink. And nothing, no force, no symbol, no whisper, will ever stop you again. Archangel Michael says, after I destroyed that symbol, something strange happened in the realm they were operating from. Time stopped for a moment. The candles they lit for their ritual blew out one by one, and a cold gust of divine wind entered their space. They screamed without sound, because their power was not just interrupted, it was reversed. What was meant to bind you wrapped around them instead. They're now trapped in the echo of the spell they drew. The ashes of that paper are now cursed in reverse. Wherever they try to hide it, in water, in soil, in secret, it will scream your name back at them like thunder. You've become the one they fear to summon. And here's what you must know next. Type Amen to get blessing 414. The glow on your name is attracting divine forces now. Angels are standing around your home, not just to protect but to preserve. Everything that belongs to you must now remain untouched by deceit. A document will arrive in the coming weeks. A name will be mentioned that seems familiar but distant. That's part of this unraveling. Someone who once tried to hide your blessing is about to confess without knowing why. They won't even understand why they're doing it. That's how deep this divine reversal is. The truth will start pouring out of mouths that once swore to keep it hidden. Your initials carry frequency. What they drew was not a shape, it was a spiritual lock. But now that I've destroyed it, the real you is unlocking. Not just blessings, but identity. You are beginning to remember your power. Type Amen to get blessing 717. They thought they could write your ending. Instead, they activated your beginning. Every chain they planned has become oil for your steps. You're about to run farther, faster, freer than they could ever imagine. You will gain back time, favor, connections, and clarity, multiplied. There's something about your voice they hated. It wasn't your tone. It was your truth. It was the way it disrupted their control. And even in silence, your soul still spoke loudly enough to break through the smoke they surrounded you with. Don't be surprised if your enemies start to retreat. Some will unfollow. Some will go silent. Some will vanish completely. Let them go. They were only there to observe your fall. But you didn't fall. You rose. And now they don't recognize you anymore. Type Amen to get blessing 000. Archangel Michael says, I left a divine mark in the place where their symbol once burned. It glows brighter than fire. It cannot be erased. From this moment forward, whenever your name is whispered, it will echo with power, not fear. Every lie spoken against you is now returning to the sender. Every hex placed against your money is now dissolving in smoke. Every attempt to block your connections will now spark divine replacements. Because you stood firm, even unknowingly, in the face of spiritual assassination, heaven has granted you access to levels you didn't even ask for. Doors are opening. Names are rising. Resources are releasing. What was once delayed will now be delivered. Type Amen to get blessing 111. There will be one final test. Not a trap, but a recognition. Someone from your past will try to draw you back into an old energy, an old version of yourself. Don't fall for it. Smile with grace, and walk away with power. This time, you know who you are. This time, you carry the truth with you. And this time, you are walking with a mark that no dark pen can overwrite. You've crossed the threshold. The spell is dead. The curse is broken. They drew a symbol. But I, Archangel Michael, erased it before it touched your destiny. Now walk forward. This is your release. This is your rise. And this is your rebirth.